Well, welcome to the Senior View. And tonight we have a very special program which I think you're going to enjoy and to learn a lot about meditation and mindfulness. It's so important, especially at our age, to be able to relax, to tune into ourselves, and to get the stressful areas of our life out of our way for a while, right? And so I have two very special guests. We have Robin Tannell, who is our Tai Chi instructor, and she also teaches meditation and mindfulness. And of course, Carol Walsh, a wonderful volunteer at the Senior Center. And so let's start and let's listen and learn, okay? All right. When I think of meditation and mindfulness, I think of releasing of stress. Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about it? How do you introduce somebody into this?
Well, first you have to want to let go. That's the first thing. Mm. And that can be the most difficult thing of all, is to actually want to let go of it. We're used to having it. Somehow it's part of our life. And so that's the first hurdle in my experience anyway, teaching people.
I see. And so I can see how it takes time for a person to sit down, maybe light a candle or do some reading or deep breathing, and to calm down. But I'm sure if you do it every day, that the success of meditating does
it gets
get better.
Easier.
Yeah. Yes.
It does, just like any other practice. Mm-hmm. I tell my students, you didn't know your multiplication tables when you first heard them. Right. Mm-hmm. You had to practice, and then you know them. And meditation is the same way, little bits at a time. I say start slow, so that you don't overwhelm yourself. If someone asks you to sit down and meditate for half an hour, 45 minutes, right off the bat, even 20 minutes, you're going to go the other way. You'll try it a couple times and then you're going to go the other way.
So 5 minutes sounds better.
a couple minutes of closing your eyes and just feeling your breath.
Yes.
That's a really good way to start.
I see. Okay. Now, so after you teach them about the deep breathing, etc., what is the next step?
Well, know that we're all unique individuals. So some will like a chanting meditation better. Mm-hmm. Some will like guided imagery better. Some like silent better. So I do encourage my students to go on YouTube because you can find everything that you could possibly ever want on YouTube. So there are chanting meditations in all languages. There are different guided meditations. There are sound meditations, and you can pick a female voice, a male voice. I have a student who's from England, and she likes the English accent, so she's gone on YouTube and found someone guiding with an English accent, so she likes that one.
Oh, how nice.
Know that one size does not fit all.
And you use the multiple types with us.
I do in class because I have a group.
Yeah, and sometimes she's talking and sometimes it's sounds, just little sounds and so forth. So there are different ways. There was a little newspaper article about a fellow from Hopkins, actually, it wasn't from Hopkins, but he was a runner the day of the marathon. And he apparently had a mohawk that was blue and bright yellow. And he was sitting on a pillow with earphones on, and after he finished, someone went over and asked him what was he listening to, and he said he was listening to prepared meditation, because all the excitement and the activity and the nervousness and so forth of running, he kind of needed to just calm and get his thoughts in order and calm down. And I thought that was interesting. That's a little snippet, so I took it out of the paper because I said, how appropriate was that?
Oh, very appropriate. Very appropriate. Because it's so important for the heart. And and relaxation to calm down and to, give yourself the gift of peace.
And you mentioned heart, if I can just stick this in
Yes.
there.
Yes.
They've done an insurance company study, and they found that people who meditated had 87% less hospitalizations for heart disease than people who
Imagine.
don't.
Yeah, wow.
Really?
87. 50% less hospitalizations for any reason. So, I mean, we meditate for health.
Yes.
Good health,
Right.
spirit. It's not like I don't get up on things too. I don't float through, but it helps me just like water. When it comes, it's a brook and there's a rock, and the water flows and it just goes around the rock and then comes back together after. It doesn't not be water. So I just say, when I see that happening, I go, Robin, just be water. Just flow.
Absolutely.
It really does help
So
a lot.
good, Robin, what you just said.
It
I love
is.
it.
It just makes you feel peaceful just listening to
Yes,
that type
yes.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Really.
yes.
Yeah.
I love nature too.
Wow.
Our kitchen table, right in front of us, we have a window that looks out to our bird feeders. And, I'll tell you, they're all spoiled when they come to my yard, I'll tell you that. And, it just gives me such peace to watch them. And
When we connect to nature, you remember who you are.
in the sunshine, the warmth of the sun,
Any nature.
it just fills me when I walk. I love it. I love it. And, it's so important, so important. And so now how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been teaching since '03. So before that, I realized the other day when I was thinking about coming here, I thought, wow, really, how long have you been interested in this? And I remember when I was in high school, early in high school, I read Siddhartha, and I knew that there was something in that Buddhist way that was calling to me.
Yeah.
And so I really started meditating in high school.
Very good.
That's wonderful.
I got away from it, when
You must have good blood pressure.
I do.
You do.
I do. It's
Yeah.
like 116 over
Wow.
80 or 116 over 60.
Wow. That is good.
Usually.
That
Very
is
good.
really,
So another thing, if I could just stick it in there,
Oh,
is
you go right ahead. That's what you're
I
here
have,
for.
I have a passion for it all. Wayne Dyer, and I don't know if you know who he was. He was one of the first, I'll say, gurus on public television. Getting back to the self and nature and meditation and these things. And he said something that really made a difference for me. He said, there is no such thing as stress in this world. And I usually get the evil eye from some people, or the shocked eye, what? And he said, he followed it with, there are simply stressful thoughts.
Interesting. Yes.
How do you look at something that creates or doesn't create stress? You can see some people suffering with their struggle, and you can see some other people with the same struggle who are not suffering in it. They're looking at it differently.
One has surrendered the situation, and the other one hasn't yet. And
So how do you look at it?
you have choices.
So when you're feeling stressed, you might just remind yourself, wait, is there another way I could look at that? Maybe there is and maybe there isn't. There are situations that all human beings are going to feel stress in,
Of
have those
course.
stressful thoughts. They're awful situations. And yes, sometimes the bad thing happens.
I think acceptance is very important of situations that we've been in, that we can't change it, we can't control it. And we all have our walks in life, and we can't control somebody else, somebody that we love very much, and so letting go. And I think prayer is very important too.
It's a form of
It is,
meditation.
sure. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
Yep. You just don't want to get caught in the muddle, not that prayer is, but in any muddle. Gardening can be meditation.
Yes.
Unless you're digging at that dirt with that thought on your mind and
Yes.
you can't get away from it.
Yes.
It's not meditative then.
Yes.
You know.
And Mary, like you've said, you enjoy gardening and so forth, so that is a nice way to do it. You're not approaching it because you have to, sort of thing. When I first started with you in meditation and so forth, I was very aware of the talking in the kitchen and the music coming from the lobby and people wandering out in the garden area and so forth. And you know, you'd have to keep bringing up, this is just me I'm talking about, I'd have to keep bringing myself back to what I was doing because I was distracted. I will say now, if it's going on, I don't care. It doesn't matter. And I truly feel that way.
That's
It
awesome.
doesn't matter. I don't go off in those directions. I'm here. And I thought, wow, I can't believe I learned that.
Awesome.
But I did. I learned that, and I said, yay. But anyway, it's a skill, and a skill needs practice. And I do meditate at home.
Yay.
Yay.
I think meditation too leads you to deep feelings that come up. Maybe you need to forgive somebody. Maybe you need to forgive yourself.
Yes.
You know, and it gives you, you know, I think that opportunity to face the issue and let it go, and by forgiveness of oneself or somebody else. I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
But, you know, meditation, you know, I don't want to just think of it as a Band-Aid. In other words, I want to, you know, really have it heal me inside and help me, you know.
And it can be a coping skill. I mean,
Yes.
that comes into it too. There are many reasons for meditating. Loads of reasons, and different people will bring different things to it and take different things from it. But I like anybody, the news is so negative, and there's so
yes.
much going on that is distracting, distressing, and it keeps people uptight and nervous, and peacefulness is hard. And I think particularly young children growing up today, maybe they don't verbalize things like that, but they have to be feeling it. And I think in the classroom, we used to have them put their heads down on their desk. One teacher told me this year, or one of the past years, that was a punishment, and I thought, oh, no. When I was a teacher, when you'd come in from recess, you'd put your head down because we'd been running and racing. I taught in a little schoolhouse in Natick. You went out with your children. You ate lunch in your classroom. There was no cafeteria, and you went out and played with them. And you'd come in, you'd be tired. You know, you'd sit back at your desk, and you have the children put their heads down on their desks and relax. Just kind of chill out, if that's what you want to call it. And sometimes I'd put on just a little soft music, but you had to be careful. They were little children, and they go to sleep. So, but that was just after running and racing and jumping and hollering. You come back in and you calm down, and that is a peacefulness. You need to get them to that point because we're ready to go to work now after that. So I think it's vital with little children. The world we live in, let's get them started on the right tracks with meditating.
That's right.
In the morning, starting their day off that way.
That's right.
Or after recess, come in and
I agree.
we're going to promote this all throughout our town. I think we are going to be getting some things going. I spoke with
Good.
Amy.
Good.
Before I came over, I just said if we got anything that is imminent, they'll be planning, because she has to plan kind of far out. And I mean, so many people have asked about it, that there's a tremendous interest there. So I know we will be getting to doing something relatively soon, and Amy, I'm sure, will be talking with you about it. Because when we talk about it, the ones of us who have this pleasure of doing this with her, people say, oh, I'd love to do that. So it would be nice to spread that out and let a lot more people.
When do you
come in
hope
and
to
learn.
start this program?
This will be up to, Amy does the planning. Amy Beck is, and she plans a way out because they have to put their newsletters and things out.
Oh,
So they do
sure.
their planning way out. So she will be getting some of those ideas together, and I'm sure talking with
Robin.
and the rest of us about when it might be a good time to do that sort of thing. You might have certain times that are better for you to do it and not times you can't. So be a matter of planning. But I think Amy will be the one that will get that
Good.
started, and then we'll
Thich
get
Nhat Hanh, my absolute favorite. Have you heard Thich Nhat Hanh? He's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk who brought mindfulness from the east to the
yes,
west.
I have heard the word.
Yeah, and he says, when you don't have time to meditate, meditate twice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Soon is not soon enough, right?
Yes.
Meditate.
It isn't,
If
yeah.
it's 2 minutes of closing your eyes and breathing and feeling the breath. It's not just closing your eyes and still thinking.
What
It's
about
feeling.
sitting there and to get your mind off what's going around you and etc., visualizing maybe a beautiful place that you love.
That's one way.
You know, and just concentrate, like maybe on a special garden in your yard, or the beautiful sunrise or sunset, you know, or a star in the sky that really just almost spoke to you when you looked up at it. It was beautiful. And to remember that the next morning and to sit there quietly and just think of it, and just think of it.
Yes.
And, you know, see, that's what helps me a lot, you know, and
Well, that is meditating, isn't it?
It is
that-
yes.
Exactly. It
So
is.
many ways
yes.
to
Yeah.
meditate.
Yes.
For me, that keeps me up in my head.
Yes.
I want my head to stop thinking of anything.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I bring it down. I feel my aliveness inside my body, and
It's terrific.
for that's where I live.
It's terrific.
I was fresh one day, and someone asked me, "Where do you live?" And I said, "In my body. Where do you live?" Sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's. I used to go see a Buddhist monk who said, I love him. He said, meditation in the West, he would say, trip to Bahama. Meditation in the East, it's hard work. So really in the West here, we relax. It's not maybe the deep meditation of the East, but it's all helpful. Find what works for you. If the star works for you, work it. If here's a little something that you're all going to know about me now, is that I'm deathly afraid of the dentist. I fainted the first time I went to a dentist as a kid. It's gotten about that much better.
Yeah.
I don't faint, but
I
I'm
know.
better. You do?
No, but I can understand that.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
So what I do is I take big earrings, honestly. Wear big earrings to the dentist, and when I get in the dental chair, I can't meditate because it's all happening in my head.
Yes.
So I can't get away from that. So I take the earrings out, and I make sure they're very interesting shapes and texture and all. And so I just close my eyes while he's doing his thing, and I feel these earrings. And that keeps my attention, my awareness away from my head where he's making me nervous, and puts them in my hands.
Very
and so
good, Robin.
you know, there's so many ways to practice mindfulness and meditation. The past is gone. The future, we have no idea.
Right.
You know, and they say, look and see if you find yourself depressed or blue. I'm not saying the deep throes of depression, but if you find yourself depressed, look and see where your thoughts are. They're usually in the past.
Very often.
I didn't do this. I don't have that anymore.
I should have done this.
Yeah, all of that.
I know.
And look and see if you feel anxious. Look at your thoughts. They're usually in the future. What if?
Dreads.
What if?
Yeah.
What if? Past isn't here, future isn't here. I'm only right here, right now. And if you're thinking, you're anywhere but there. You can't think the present moment. You experience it. And then you have thoughts of it after. But the experience, and remember looking into a baby's eyes or puppy, kitten, whatever you want. When you look and you see soul to soul, that's a feeling, that's not a thought. Then you want it again because it felt so good, so
yes,
you think
you
about
want to bring
it.
it back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
The present moments of feeling and experience.
And I think, too, that it unlocks creativity within you. In other words, instead of fretting and sitting down and watching television, maybe I'll make a pie today, or maybe I will do some sewing, instead of, sitting there by myself and watching TV and thinking. I think it helps us to make healthy choices for us, because it's good to be busy. It's good, get out and walk. I love walking, I do.
But we need quiet time, yin and
Yes.
yang. We can't have all doing.
That's right. That's
We
right.
can't have all sleeping. We can't have all of one or the other. We need a combination of some kind of balance
Yes.
with it all. The corporate America now knows it needs meditation.
Yes,
There's
that's where you
creativity comes from inside, not a thought. It's you have your creative idea actually happens here, and it zips on up to your mind, because your brain is what manifests that that idea for you. Oh, I have I sew too. Oh, I have this great idea for whatever it is I want to sew. Well, my God, where I got the idea can't make it. So it zips up to your head, and then you make it. And so corporate America, there's no new technology really if there's no new creative thought from
right.
here. And if you're busy up here, you can't hear here. So corporate America, there's one company, I think Salesforce One, I think, they have the tallest building in San Diego, San Francisco, somewhere in California, in that whole city. And they have a meditation room in every floor.
Isn't
Wow,
that
see,
wonderful?
so they know.
That's
They-
wonderful.
yeah.
And that's corporate.
I hope
Yeah.
this is growing across
I
America.
I think
It's huge.
I think it
Mindfulness
is.
is
It
hot.
really is, and you hear people talking about it so much more. You never used to hear those terms.
That's right.
I mean,
Oh,
now you hear them
never.
a lot.
That's wonderful. I want to thank you both for coming so much.
thank you for having
Robin,
me.
and thank you for
Thank you.
what you do.
Oh, thank you.
You are a gift. You
Well,
are
I'm
a
very
gift.
lucky. I'm in her class,
And I'm very lucky you're in my class.
and she reminds me best you can, and
Best
I
you
will
can.
never forget that.
Always, every day, best
That's
you
right.
can.
Robin teaches Tai Chi
Yes, I
on
do.
Wednesdays at the Hopkinton Senior Center.
Yes, I do.
And you do meditation there too a
Yes,
little bit?
we start with meditation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Carol.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for coming today.
It's always nice to
You
see
do
you.
so much for the Hopkinton Senior Center.
Well, thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, you do indeed.
I love it.
Yes, yes. I know it's home almost, isn't it? It really is. And I want to thank you for watching. And I do hope you consider meditation. And, if you want to come down to a class to join Tai Chi, or just to come in and observe the first time and see, and
Absolutely.
that we would welcome you with open arms. So we thank you for watching, and you have a good night.
Do you have what it takes?
Will you make a difference?
Always an adventure.
Police and fire working together.
Utilizing the latest technology.
Do you have what it takes?
Have you ever considered texting and driving? If so, you should know the consequences. If caught texting and driving for the first time, you could get an $100 fine plus your license taken away for 60 days. The consequences only get worse the more you get caught. Even if you don't get caught, there could be serious effects. You could get into a car accident and hurt yourself or someone else. Texting and driving is a very dangerous combination, so stop before this happens to you.
Welcome to the Senior View. And today we have some very special guests who do some very special work.
We've done a lot of charity quilts. We've done quilts for veterans. We've done quilts for the Serenity House.
So we try to figure out what are your goals, what's your time frame, what's your motivation for moving, what's the situation with the house.
I love to be beside the sun, beside the sea, beside the seaside, by the beautiful sea.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Peralt, host of the program Meet Your Neighbor on HCAM TV.
Kids got so much on their plate, and they're traveling here and they're traveling there.
You know, they still need help from time to time.
My father always was outdoors. I mean, he grew up, he had pet baby squirrels.
This show introduces you to Hopkinton residents, the many interesting people who are our neighbors, and we invite them to share stories, experiences, insights, and observations from their lives.
Welcome to Hopkinton Coffee Break.
A very special dessert done by a woman from Hopkinton that I've started using regularly.
We had your residents participating both as vendors and as shoppers, and that was so much fun. Real Hopkinton Housewives, if you're on Facebook, you will have a blast. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
It's been a great,
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you
See
too.
you guys.
Bye-bye.